Podcast. So this is it, our first of many shows to get you geared up for the IIHF Women's World Championships 2026. Yeah, this is what we're going to be having over the summer months. We're going to be giving you lots of content, get you all geared up, ready for Denmark in November. We're going to have team previews coming up in the summer, these summer months, where we're going to basically just, give our thoughts on how we feel the teams are going to be doing going into the tournament. And so, just our general thoughts about how we feel about each team. We'll use their previous international tournaments as a baseline to judge how we feel about them. Yeah, that'll be coming up. We're going to do it by groups. Yeah, so we will do our groups first, the group the USA is in, and then we'll do the other group. That's how we're going to do it, yeah. So today, this episode is to basically explain to you how the format works, because we have a brand new format going into 2026, yeah. So the old format, we'll just remind you the old format. Later, you want to do it? Yeah. And I'll make sure we've got the correct this year's format. Yeah, do that. Right, so while George just gets all the these needs. Yeah, so the old format was very straightforward. Very similar to how you have the Olympics. So you have the top 5 teams of the world compete in Group A, all go through to the knockout stages. And then Group B is the bottom 5 clubs. And the top 3 in Group B would then join all Group A in the knockout tournament. That's how it would work. And then the bottom 2 in Group B would get relegated down to Division 1A, and they would be replaced by the 2 teams who would finish in first and second in Division 1A. That is how it's worked for quite some time. This year it's all changed. Have you got that? Yes. Okay, right. Over to George. This year it's all changed. I've got the 4, but I've not got the groups. Oh! Sorry, we just need to get... Right, sorry, we just need to get groups. He's got the format up, but not the groups, so just give him a moment to do that. Add... Right, so it's all changed this year. It actually... Honestly, it's for the better. I thought she was about to go with Simply Read, but I'm like, no, would not do that to you, George. Would not do that to you. I'll just remind you, boys and girls, that we do have an episode explaining our thoughts on the new format from last year when it was announced. So go check out that. Have we got them now? Yes. Okay. Right. So over to George. Thank you, lady. Right. So this year, 2026, we have a brand new format for the IIHF Women's World Championships, and it is as follows. So. For the upcoming 2026 IIHF Women's World Championships, the groups have been changed to a horizontal seeding format. This means teams are now distributed across groups following a snake format, with the 2 groups alternating in order based on their world ranking. So in Group A, we have the teams that finished in that are ranked 1st, 4th, 5th, 8th and 9th in the world ranking. Yeah. And in Group B, we have the teams that are 2nd, 3rd, 6th, 7th and 10th in the world rankings. So the preliminary round is standard straightforward. Each team plays each other once. The top 4 in each group will advance to the knockout stages. And then the bottom team in Group A and the bottom team in Group B will go head-to-head in a playoff relegation match, with the loser going down to Division 1A, where they'll be replaced by France in 2027, because France won Division 1A, which means they have won promotion to the top tier in 2027. Now I'm going to give you guys a moment to just let your jaws come off the floor. We're all stunned. We are all stunned by that. We're all stunned by that. We're all in shock, but we haven't really got time to be in shock. No. 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 Yeah. So, yeah, so this is going to be exciting. I just want to double check any video calls needs before we go on the other groups. No, it's just standard straightforward. Yep. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, right. So let's now look at who is in the top division for 2026. So, let's look, shall we? So, the following teams have qualified for the top division in 2026, and they are as follows. So we have the top 8 from last year's tournament, which was held in Czechia. So that was USA, Canada, Finland, Czechia, Switzerland, Sweden, Japan, and Germany. And we have the 2 teams that were promoted from Division 1A last year. And that tournament last year was held in China. And that was Austria and Denmark. Can you remind me who finished where, lady? Austria won Division 1A. Denmark were second in Division 1A. And I'll remind you that Hungary and Norway, who were in the top division last year, got relegated back into Division 1A. Although I think Hungary, we might be seeing them back very soon, because they did well. Hungary did very well this year in Division 1A. Norway, not so much. No, but Hungary, I think you're right. We might see them again soon in the top division. We'll see what happens. And for Austria and Denmark, for Austria, this is their first time in the top tier. Woohoo! So yeah, this is Austria's first appearance in the top tier. While for Denmark, they made their first appearance in the top division in 2021, and their most recent appearance was in 2024. And each of their last 3 appearances in the top division, Denmark have finished 10th. So Denmark will be hoping to really improve. On from last time round. Of course, 2024 was our first World Championships. It was! Yes, it was. 2024 was our first World Championships. Held in Utica. Yeah, because unfortunately, we didn't know that this existed until the PTHL. I'm still blaming the BBC. Can't blame RT for everything. I think we can. I mean, yes, you're one of the leading broadcasters of broadcasting the games when it comes to Olympics, but you need to tell people how you can then get involved with sport afterwards. I know. I mean, did we really have any of the broadcasters this year allowed to tell you how you can get involved with PHL? I think so. They name dropped us plenty of times, but were you told how you can get following us? Nope. Not at all. Not at all. Right. So in the knockout stages, we're gonna get to Chris a bit, but just one about knockout stages. In the knockout stages, there will be a reseeding after the quarterfinals. Okay, so just bear in mind. Right, we'll take you through the groups now. Okay, so in Group A we have Team USA, Team Czechia, Team Switzerland, Team Germany, and Team Austria. Why do I feel like we're the odd one out? Because they're all neighbours. The rest are all neighbours. Because as we learned in Basel last year, there is German. It's one of the languages of Switzerland, so they're very close neighbours. Thank you, Hazel. Yeah. It does feel a bit. Yeah, they do look a bit all close together. Yeah, we look like the odd one out. What do you think about this group? I think it's a really good group. I mean, it's easier for Czechia to come second. I mean, Czechia was a team this year in Milwaukee we all felt had too much high expectations. I have to confess to that. I know. Well, good for you. Well, good for you holding your hands up. A lot of other commentators probably wouldn't have done that, George. I've got morals. I've got morals. Yeah, I admit I did say that Czechia I'll be honest. Czechia was my tip to get bronze in Milano Cortina, but I based that on two things. Number one, their past performances in the World Championships, and number two was how well Carl McLeod has transformed that program since taking over. So I had high hopes for Czechia. And at the time, there were two Frost players on that roster. Sheeterberg and Hinover, but of course since then Sheeterberg was traded. So we don't have. Yeah, she was the big trade deadline trade, which means we don't have to hear my plot anymore going, "We want a break!" The whole season he has been quoting Ross from Friends every time they mention about what happened with Sheeterberg in the expansion draft. Every time he's done it. So that's a saving grace there. No, I think Czechia stand a better chance of finishing second, which could give them a better opponent in the quarterfinals. So now obviously Switzerland, we know how that was in Milano Cortina. That was a thriller. I think that's probably the warning signs about Czechia was in Milano Cortina. Germany, how do you think they would do against Germany? It's a tough one. I think it's interesting how you got Germany in Group A, because you'd look at that and think, right, okay, Germany, show us what you were. But we haven't really been impressed with Germany the last two international tournaments. No. I mean, they did well in the groups in Milano Cortina this year, but then faltered. Even they did well in the groups in Milano Cortina. You know? Well, they let Italy and France have opportunities to win their games. Okay. If I'm a nation like Germany, I would be thinking we should have run circles around the French and the Italians, and yet those teams were still two teams that were very much in it. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, but they're not very likely to go to relegation, are they, George? No. At worst, they probably will get the last spot from Group A, because Switzerland will go this as relevant bronze medalists in Milano. Yeah. And we are praying for Switzerland to have a good tournament. So that the likes of Pluto don't go, "Oh, well, that was a bit of a fluke, wasn't it?" No, it wasn't. And then we've got Austria. Now, Austria's an interesting because obviously we don't know that much about Austria. So obviously last year they were in Division 1A. Obviously, when we do the TP, we will look at Austria's performance from last year in Division 1A. Same with Denmark. How have they not fair? Well, they've only really got to worry about the USA and Czechia. That's how I would see it. I think they could easily take points off both Switzerland and Germany. But I think that Austria, your chances of doing well are slim. Are very slim. So if I had to make a prediction of who is going to be in the relegation playoff from Group A, I'd say Austria. Okay. I would just say Austria straight away. But we'll see what happens. But yeah. So it's a really interesting group, but everyone's going to look at something easy for the USA. Yeah. And of course, we enter this tournament as reigning gold in both the World and Olympics. We do indeed. So everyone's going to look at that group thing. It's going to be an easy win for the USA. Yeah, but remember last year in the semi-finals we did play Czechia and they had that 1-0 lead. They did. But I continue. Right, so it's Group B. So in Group B we have Team Canada, Team Finland, Team Sweden, Team Japan and Team Denmark. So basically it's Scandinavia versus Canada and Japan. Lady Finland doesn't like to be called Scandinavia. Oh, sorry. But they have the same flag template. I know. There's always one. Normally more than one. There's always one that goes, I don't think I should be associated with this clique. Anyway, right, how do we feel about this group? I think this is an interesting group. Because, Canada are going to feel like they've got something to prove. And the good news for Canada about the groups being balanced is you don't have to worry about facing the USA until the gold medal game. Yeah. That is kind of saving grace. Because it's now what? 8 in a row? Both games in the Worlds last year. 4 Rivalry Series games. So, yeah, 8 in a row. And then 2 in the Olympic. Yeah, 8 in a row now. The US have beaten Canada and outscored them quite heavily. So, we'll see what happens. Yeah. So, not good. Yeah. So, for Canada, you're probably going to take anything you can get for an easier ride. To try and build that confidence back up in the groups. Yeah. Then faced in the knockout. Yeah. Sweden for me is who I want. Oh yeah, I'm so excited for Sweden. Got a new coach coming in. Yeah, who knows what she's doing. They can build off momentum for Milan. Yeah, because I think you have to go back to maybe either Pyeongchang or Sochi. For the last time Sweden was in the medal matches at the Olympics. Yeah. And they haven't really had that much luck in the World Championships either. You look at Sweden, you think that should be a team that really should be up there as a medal contender each year. Especially, of course, you've got the SDHL in Europe. So you think... but... Yeah, so Sweden hasn't really seen that much luck, and yet this is a nation that really should be high up there, along with Canada and US in terms of potential medals. So I'm going to be really keeping a very close eye on Sweden. Now, they did play USA in the semi-finals in Milano. So it'll be interesting to see how they go against Canada. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. That'll be interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I would not be surprised if it's Canada or Sweden who tops the group. I think the Canada v Sweden game will be similar to how in previous years the Canada v US group game has been. Yeah, because in past years Canada USA have been the same group, and that group match against those two teams has always been the one you look at and think this decides who wins the group. That is what you're going to look at this year with Group B. Instead, it's Sparia this time instead of USA who will try to take on Canada for a group. I think Sweden could maybe do a dent there. I think Sweden could get kind of a good run for the money out there. Now we've got our host Denmark. What do we make of Denmark's chances? Well, as am I, George. Obviously, we don't know much about Denmark. We will look into that for the team preview. I would not be surprised if Denmark just gets relegated. I mean, the last 3 times they've been there, they've been relegated automatically. So at least Denmark can go into this time thinking, well, at least we can play to stay in the game. Yeah. It's not like, oh, we do crap, we're going straight back down. They actually, yeah, that's the beauty now of the new relegation format. Is if you're a team like France or Denmark who's won promotion and you're being, oh, what, our chances aren't great. Well, actually, and we're probably going to go up and down. But, well, actually, no, you might take no change because now there's a chance. There's a slight chance you might now still be there the following year. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I do think Denmark are going to be the team from Group B who will have to play in the relegation game because they're just going to get whacked. Got a pluralist here. He would use the term spanking. He would. And we do not do that. We do not do that, Milham. We do not do that. You don't need to know about your sex life. I don't know where he's been using it ever since that embarrassing loss we had to Oral last year. And there's been times where I'm thinking, why are you using that word? I don't like that word. It just sounds horrible. I don't like it. We do not, but me and him, we do not do bondage. And since we're sharing, bondage I think is the only thing for me that would be off the cards. Yeah, if I was to find a partner, I think bondage would be the only thing off the cards. So, it's just, how is that pleasurable? Heterosexual gay couples, let me know in the comments, how is that pleasurable? All it is you just basically just whacking each other's arses. I don't think that's pleasurable at all. I think that's torture. So probably the only benefits to George is you get to see your partner with their kicks off. That's probably the benefits to it. Alright, but back to this. So Denmark pretty much are going to get whacked. They're going to get whacked by Canada, they'll get whacked by Sparia, and they'll get whacked by Finland. Japan is the only one I've got a question mark off. Now, I'm not cold about Japan. I'm not cold about Japan either. Japan, what were you playing at in Milan Corti? Because there was plenty of moments, and Pluto Corti too. There are plenty of moments where you looked at Japan's performance and it basically just rolled over and played dead. Especially in those last 2 games where you need to win. Yeah, I mean, in that game, in the closing moments against Italy, they just didn't do much, and yet you had opportunity to tie the game there. You know, so then the game against Sparia, the last one, nothing. And yet they had to win that game to have a chance to get through. Nothing, just nothing there. So I'm really not confident about Japan's performance. So if Denmark can find ways to get points, then we could see Japan play in the relegation game. But I am not confident about Japan. Japan, you are on your way out. In fact, when was the last time Japan got relegated? Let's look it up. Okay, when was the last time? Because Japan, I don't know about you, Valerie, but I generally feel Japan is on their way out of the top tier. Yeah. And yet we look at their past performances. You know, Japan have only missed 3 Olympics. Oh, yeah, they were not in 2002, 2006, or 2010 in terms of Olympics. If we look at the World Championships, so going from their first place in 1990. Okay. Right. The last time that Japan got relegated was in 2016, and that was back when there was only 8 teams. Ooh, that was back when there was only 8 teams. So in 2016, Japan got relegated to Division 1, and then to Division 1A, and then in 2017, immediately went back up, because they finished first in Division 1A in 2017, got promoted, and have never been out since. But their track record since that coming back has just been ghastly. What's it be? 18 2016. Yeah, let's go confirm that. Yeah. Wow. No. But if you look at that performance since 2019, it's not good. 8th in 2019, 6th in 2021, 5th in 2022, 7th in 2023, 8th in 2024, and 7th in 2025. I just feel Japan is on their way out. They are on. That is a nation who is on their way out. So I think Japan, might get lucky this time around. But if you are still there next year, it is because Japan managed to find such consistency since they got back into the Olympics in 2014. But yeah, you're right. Their world records, it just doesn't show. I mean, honestly, I don't know. They were bad in Milan Cortina this year, 2026. Bad. They should have got wins over convincingly easy over France and Italy. Did not. Should have been able to get points out of Germany. Because, if my memory serves me well, Japan finished above Germany in the groups last year in Czechia. They did. They did. So you knew you could beat Germany. Yeah. I agree with you. I think Japan will win out. But it's probably not going to be Denmark who are playing the relegation game. So I'll be thinking early prediction: Austria beat Denmark in the relegation game, and then one stays. Yeah. But it depends on how it goes. I'm not going to predict who. Right. Okay. So obviously that's the top 4 in Group A and top 4 in Group B will go to the knockout round. And in that knockout round, in the quarterfinals, we can run through it now. So the winner of Group A plays the team that finished 4th in Group B. The team that finishes 2nd in Group B will play the team that finishes 3rd in Group A. The team that finished 2nd in Group A plays the team that finished 3rd in Group B. And the team that wins Group B plays the team that finished 4th in Group A. And then after that, it will then they then get reseeded in the save bars. Yeah. And of course, obviously, win your semi, you get to play the gold match. Lose your semi, you play in the bronze match. And when we get schedules, we will run you through those. Because we've got to work out when will the relegation game get played. Yeah, because you've got to slot that in. So yeah. Yeah. So we will come back for the next episode. We'll confirm to you the schedule. Today we're just focusing on the format. Yeah. Schedule we'll do another time. Just confirming something. Just confirm. Well, you can't confirm that's right about Japan. Yeah. Because chances are there'll be some viewers that are thinking, well, hang on. Questioning our knowledge yet. see if there are some people still. I know. Yes, you were right. Japan did finish above Germany in the groups last year. And I can confirm to you that in that game, in that group stage, it was Japan who beat Germany. Right, so you should have been able to have got away with them and I'll continue then. Yeah. Seriously, I think you're right. I think we've got Japan thing. You're on your way out. Yeah. You are seriously on your way out. I mean, you beated Germany in the groups in the Worlds last year. Surely you should have then managed to have found a way to then get points off the Milan Cortina. Yeah. Only one team in that group should Japan not have done good against. That was Sweden. Which is like what happened because with that game against Sweden, they basically just rolled over like a dog. No, but none taken. They just basically, because it was basically what Pluto used that analogy. He did. He basically used that analogy. He basically said, following that game, he basically said, "Oh, Japan's basically rolled over and died and played dead." Yeah. For that whole game. Give me one sec. Yeah, just need to pop this up. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's all I've done anyway. So yeah, but I need to pop it up. Okay. Yeah, so I think Japan. I think it's interesting because also we know nothing about Denmark. Yeah. So obviously Denmark were in Division 1B last year, which means that we know nothing from Denmark. Yeah. So who knows? Denmark actually could surprise us. I mean, you know. Plus, more people going to go into Denmark thinking, oh, Finland had a bad tournament in Cortina. Will that affect them? Yeah. With Finland, I think obviously we'll mention it in the team previews because we have to use Milan Cortina as their previous guideline. We're always going to wonder, what if with Finland? What if neurovirus didn't happen? We're always going to look back on that with Finland. But so there you go. So that is pretty much your rundown of the format for the World Championships going forward. Remind you, this year's tournament will take place in Denmark from the 6th of November to the 16th of November 2026. And then we think, this is just an educated guess, we think that season 4 of the PHL will then commence Thanksgiving weekend. Yeah. We think it's an educated guess because you then still have to then do training camps, which don't really take that long in the PHL. They're very quick training camps. Yeah, you've got to do that. Chances are teams will want a pre-season, so chances are we'll probably have a similar pre-season we had this season, where you just play one team across 2 games. Yeah. So we think that next season will probably begin Thanksgiving weekend. So that is the 26. Yeah. Your birthday is Sunday, isn't it, George? Yeah. Yeah. So yes, you got to yeah, you got it right. 26. So potentially the week. So the week commencing the 23rd. Yeah. So potentially the week commencing the 23rd of November. That could be when the PHL starts. Season 4. That's not confirmed, by the way. Now it's just our it's just our educated guess, because you would need to allow at least a week to do training camp and pre-season, and then get underway. Yeah. It's basically going to have to be like what happened with the Rivalry Series, because the players who are at the Rivalry Series had to then immediately then report to training camp. So it's probably going to be that again. So players that go to Denmark, immediately you would have to go straight to training camp. Yeah. No. That's our SK guess, by the way. No. Like I said, so we will have another episode coming up. We'll go through the schedule. We'll go through that on time. And we are going to have team previews for all 10 teams. We will start with our group. We will do Group A first, and then we will do Group B. Okay, so that's what we're going to do it. Yeah, so it'll be Group A first, then we'll do Group B, and then that will be it. Yeah, and then should we tell them after? We can. Yeah, you do it. Okay. So after tournament, we will have an episode where we will recap the whole tournament. We're not going to do like George's been doing it with Milan Cortina. No, because that has been difficult. That's difficult, and it's so easy, and it's easy to trip me up from time to time. So yeah, no, it'll just be what we'll do is we will run you through the group, how the groups went down, and how the knockout stage went down. That's what it will be. We won't try to read a recap of it. We'll just do here's how Group A finished, here's how Group B finished, this is what the knockout stages. We'll hear our thoughts on it, including Pluto's, although I doubt that we'll have that much thoughts. Yeah, we've managed to convince him to actually be with us following the tournament, but I'm not sure how well he's going to engage with it. Basically, we made it very clear we're not having a repeat of last year, where me and Lady are following it, and you're over there in the corner doing snide remarks. Yeah. No, so he is going to be sitting with us throughout the tournament. It's just, we'll see if he gets any content. No. And that will be the plan going forward. Yeah, because obviously now World Championships will now be held beginning of November every year. So that would be our plan going forward over the summer months, is to basically get you geared up and ready for well, yeah. So okay, so that is it. So we will see you next with team previews. So we'll do Group A first, and we'll start with the USA. We need to cement the order. Yeah, but we can do that after. Yeah. We will start with Team USA. And we'll work our way through Group A, and then we'll work our way through Group B. So, thank you for joining us always. That's going to do it for us today. Until next time, take care, guys.